What? Too much gas, no brakes? I don't have time to be fake, otherwise you'll be late. And that won't be great.
So just now we were talking about, because I've struggled sometimes trying to figure out how to get some of what I have earned and what I'm doing, trying to make sure I get it to y'all, because obviously I told you that's why we're sharing what we're sharing. So, and then I was expressing what my frustration can feel like, and then also what it's going to require. Because with the video you're about to see, or with the video that you're going to see at some point, where I am talking about the mark of the beast, and you have to understand that it's been going in a certain direction. I told you it's been going like this, clockwise, the world and stuff like that for a long time. That shouldn't have been going. I said because that's inappropriate, and that's for, I'll explain that at a different time. But this is about what it requires. So when I say the chaos is necessary and that we're in for a fight for the light, all of that, because this is what it feels like for me, okay? No, I'm just gonna cut this out. Because for me, when you're the person that has been tasked to have humanity have a certain type of awareness that requires spinning the globe, spinning Earth to its proper way, which is counterclockwise, just like the spiral of life, the counterclockwise is how it's supposed to be. And that's also mentioned in Native American prophecies, okay? So, but here's the problem when you are the prophecy. It is, I feel like it's a huge wheel, like a huge mechanical wheel, like the one I got even in the hallway. Actually, it's like as my reminder. It's like one of those things, like a bicycle, crank that your chain goes around. Now, imagine one that is just huge, like the size of Earth, okay, and has the spokes on it that help you grab the chain, are literally like little toothpick size on something the size of a globe. All right. Now, what has happened is that it has spun so far this way that it's just locked in the wrong position, okay? Now, each video that I do and gives people the information that's necessary for your soul to feel and know what's proper, okay, which you ought to know as I'm telling you this now, that crank has been sitting like that, just hanging, okay? Or actually, it's in a lock mode. Now, I've knocked it with the things that I'm doing. That knock sends it hanging like this, all right? Now, that means it's still in that position for the way it's been going. So it's still in that forward position, locked and knocked, okay? But the knocking is the chaos that has to happen. So I knocked it, and I'm gonna keep knocking it until you help me do the reeling, which is what I'm also doing at the same time. Because though I've knocked it, I'm doing a reeling, click, 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 backward I'm doing click, click, click backwards, okay? But imagine how difficult it is for one man with a royal soul, okay? It means that I am having to use all of my might, yet can still do it. But it means it's happening real slow. Mm-hmm. So slow that it ain't gonna happen fast enough to help your kids and your kids' kids if you don't grab your arm and your whole soul and everything in you to help hit those clicks backwards so that we can reel the chain back up to the right direction and then be able to then pull more fresh new chain out the water through the ground. So basically before it was cut off, so I'm telling you, so I have it knocked. I have it knocked after it's been locked. They have it locked in the position, which is the thing that's affecting everything. Like when it's locked in a position, stuff can just sit on autopilot. Everything inside that crank can just go naturally how it's been going, the way it's been going while it's locked, okay? So I'm knocking it, and I said I will continue to knock it, okay? But I won't have to keep knocking it if you will pick up what I'm putting down, and then you'll keep laying your power on top of my power so that we can crank it back how it's supposed to be. So because of each one of these videos, and also because of what needs to happen next, is that when you now have been made aware that the mark of the beast is the wrong beast that has been operating the entire dimension that you live on, it means it's time to not be paying attention to nor contributing to that beast energy. You need to be focusing on the Divine Seven that is staring back at you, okay? And that mark of that beast is still a beast, still a beast. But that's exactly why I have the power to knock it. And we have the power to roll it back and to lock it when we decide to lock it after we start pulling out fresh new chain. And that'll be after millions of people see these messages and have this understanding. So I'm trying to give it as layman as I can, okay? So now we're down with this crank that's already locked, and I'm knocking it, especially with this video and the last ones and the next one. So now what we do together by making sure people have awareness of what I'm talking about, yes, that means sharing, that means posting things that are not about everybody else, every celebrity who has a department, division, or people that you're just infatuated with, okay? I'm not asking you to be infatuated with me. I'm not asking you to care. I don't care about all that. What I care about is you getting the message, sharing the message, so that we can undo this shit, okay? So let's be clear about that, all right? So now, toothpick size crank pans, okay? So now, each one is going to be, and each one of those, for a weak person, that's gonna feel like war. Okay? But you have to remember, and that's why sharing is important, because that means that you have to remember everybody else that has been shared with, they have the same understanding. You're going to fight for them to have the understanding that I'm fighting and giving you, so that that won't feel like a war each knock. Okay? You shouldn't have to. We shouldn't be having war with each other while we're turning the crank back in the right position. That's ridiculous. Just like religions that do that. Okay? So that's how fast I want it cranking back in the right direction. And the only way to do that is for you to receive the messages, knowing that we are clearly not just in the wrong direction, but outspun, okay? But not remembering how much power sits in your soul. And that's the God, light, and energy that they don't have, which is why they've been able to. And just like that with that face, which is why they always look so slovenly, yet have the most, okay?
Right.
So, I need you to receive the message, heed the call, share them to all energies and people that you know. And the other thing that was mentioned is about creatives, people that come from creative fields, and have all of us, you have that side of your brain, so you have creative energy, and you want to be able to have that feeling free. Now, you know how difficult it is when we've already been we're going in that direction. That's the direction of control, not creativity. Creativity, you can't control, okay? So people are trying to control with the hand, not letting you have your mind, okay? That lets you know that the mark of the beast, that beast forces your hand. God would never do that, okay? God wants your creative mind, heart, and soul to find with your mind, okay, the truth, okay? That's what it's about. And people that block that, which are politicians included, who do not pay attention to those things, and yet knowing that they have the same things running in their body, but then they're just moving towards the capitalistic decisions that they think are going to help make their families survive financially, and that's the only thing they think about is the financial portion of that, and not realizing that you still have to live in a world with everybody else. So your bank account, keeping that tight and keeping you blocked out from everybody else, keeps you in the night. That's called darkness, okay? So you're living in that beast 666 energy, okay? And you're choosing to do so if you ignore exactly the things that I'm saying that are for everyone, okay? Which means that you're blocking out creative people from creative fields. So I'm in New York right now, okay? One of the most creative cities in the world, and one that also suffered the most from losing Broadway and a whole lot of creative outlets that you were enjoying in, okay? Bringing your families up to see. Now, those creative free options to help do different things that were interesting for your family are unavailable because your hand has been forced, okay? I'm telling you to use your mind so that we can rewind, okay? So that creativity, remember we used to have, and pop-up shops were brand new. 5 years ago, going to a pop-up shop because your friend's sneakers are gonna come out, or your friend just painted a pair of sneakers, and then ooh, who was in the corner? Oh, that baddie right there, and come to find out, she's a lawyer. What the heck she doing in here? That's because her homegirl is You don't know her at home. She real cool. Okay, just because she does that don't mean she's not creative and doesn't like creative stuff, which is how you merge and mix. How can you merge and mix if you're separated physically and mentally? So you're already separated physically. You know that. So I'm going to help undo that mentally. But you think I can do that alone. So use your phone and share it everywhere. You understand? Because now what we have to do is we have to pop up. Okay? This is my pop-up shop right here. I'm popping up. Okay? And this is for you to shop it to everyone. Because what they need to understand is that the only way to get clarity is to lose that fear of not having all that other things that you used to see here. Okay? Now, how if we only had those little fun moments, so, where people are doing those pop-up kind of things and being able to feel comfortable at them, was so long ago, but literally had only started 5 years ago. So how are you going to get that energy back? How do you get it back? Is by having the fearless nature that only your soul can provide, and by hearing the light that flows out of my body. That light is connected to your light, which is how you're going to be able to receive this. So we're going to then do what again? What are we talking about? Doing what's right. Okay? That's called a backward crank. And we're going to have to do it like this. Sometimes it's going to look like this. Sometimes it's going to look like that. Okay? And that's how it has to be done in order for us to get all the way back unspun, so that you can not just have your memory, but you can have all of the things that now to you seem like basic things and things that you just should be a part of your life, that you have to run out into the streets of Miami to try to get to feeling right again just because you miss it that much. You feel so disconnected. It's never going to be like that unless you can receive a message that someone is sharing with you that is maybe an hour, maybe longer. All things that have to do with the mark of the beast, not even knowing that you were living in the beast world at that time. That time is over. And I'm back to tell you that. So now that you have that awareness, and by the way, when you see all of the lights and energies flying around my home, when you see my blue soul go out on its own and come right back so we can attack, that should let you know that now we're at a restart point. And this is the prophecy that I will make sure is the end if none of you begin. And those who remember the old ways, you already know. Because why? It's something that has always been said. Because this is the only way you will leave this planet undead. Okay? When the world changes, and as it continues to do so, if you move slow, when you know the things that I am trying to sow, then I promise there will be so much more that you lose, and so much more that you will never know. And those of you who have always paid attention to the old ways, and making sure that everything around you is moving in a way that is fluid like the water, that is moving in your body, all of that water in your body, that fluidity, that freedom, that creativity, that is a 7.